Get ready, gang. My favorites are here. Listen to this. A side result, an unintended consequence of the Me Too movement has popped up. Male executives and managers, some are now saying they are afraid to work with and mentor female colleagues in the workplace. So we're trying to find out, is it too hard to see the difference between mentoring and harassment? Joining me now to discuss, Tiffany DeFoo, founder and CEO of The Crew and author of Drop the Ball, and Shelley Zalis, CEO of The Female Quotient. Tiffany, I turn to you first. So men who are making this argument, well, suddenly now I could be accused of harassment. I can't mentor women anymore. And we first heard this pop up from Wall Street. Bloomberg had an article. I took issue with it because I can't find any evidence where there was ever any extraordinary mentoring on Wall Street. We've never had a female CEO of a bank. So is this just an excuse?
So here's the thing. I want to talk to all the men out there who have this concern. I want to say that I feel empathy. I understand. You're concerned that you're walking on eggshells. You feel vulnerable in the workplace. You're concerned that your words or your behavior might be misinterpreted as being something other than who you are.
We don't know what the new rules of the road are.
Welcome to the world of being a woman or a person of color or a member of the LGBT community or a person with disabilities in the workplace. That is part of the experience, having to take a risk in showing up. You're concerned that you may be labeled as a creep because you compliment me on my beautiful dress. You know what? Sometimes I'm labeled as the B word because I smile too much. I think that we need to take this new experience that men are feeling in the workplace and actually channel it into something really positive, which is, why don't you work on creating a more inclusive culture and taking all of your frustration, directing it at the men who are making you look really bad, the bad apples, and not punish women in the workplace, because quite frankly, your whole enterprise is going to crumble if you don't figure out how to leverage and harness the ingenuity and creativity and talent of the women.
Shelley, take the other side of the coin with me. You and I are both women who have been mentored by men. We have spent our careers with men, having lots of close personal, social relationships. And many, many times people have said, well, how did she get there? Why is he bringing her? So there's not no truth to it.
Listen, I think the biggest issue today is we're living in a climate of hypersensitivity, microsensitivity. Men are afraid to do and say the wrong thing in today's post-movement era, which is a big issue. And look at us, there's so few female leaders. Leaders are predominantly men, and we need leaders to be our mentors. And if leaders, which are predominantly men, are afraid to be with women alone, we have a big issue. We have a really big issue. 3.5 times more men say today that they will not go alone with a woman for dinner. 5 times more likely men not wanting to travel with women.
This is a big problem. When we first heard this from Mike Pence, we laughed at it. We said it was absurd. And now if we're actually hearing this from business people, I am worried.
Well, here's the thing. There's lots of ways that the current system, as it was not allowing opportunities for women, for people of color, for people in the workplace to advance, because oftentimes when you choose a mentor, you choose someone who's like yourself. I think that this can present all kinds of opportunities for opening up the playing field to let more people get the kind of leadership development and exposure and insight and advice that they need. You don't have to have, if you're not going to have a dinner or a closed door meeting with a woman, how about you not have it with the young men either? How about you choose 3 or 4 or 5 up-and-coming people in your industry? How about you have a group lunch, right, where you give your insight, you encourage them to then peer coach one another and form a crew so that they can support one another. I think there are all kinds of ways in which we really need to think about how we advance talent, how we support people, that opens up the playing field for everybody as opposed to being more exclusionary. We don't want to go in that direction.
In a formal sense, that will be fantastic, but it is also those informal connections that really make a huge difference in people's careers. And do we run the risk right now of losing that while the rules of engagement are so unclear?
Well, I think that's why it's time to rewrite the rules. I think it's time to...
But who's going to rewrite them, and then who's going to tell us what they are? Because I don't know it.
Yeah, I always, we always say it takes a village to raise a family. What is the 21st century today of a village? And I think it includes our companies. And that's what we have to really be thinking about, creating a culture of care, a culture of safety, a culture of security, a culture where we all belong, a culture we can thrive. We cannot go backwards. This is a trend that is a really scary trend, and the way to move forward is with positivity, proactive solutions for change, and getting all of us to own this responsibility. And when you think about it, what's okay and not okay? There's a range of men from clueless to creepy to classy. You know, there's 3 categories, right? And I think in the post-movement era, we just need a new education of what's okay and not okay. And every generation has a different perspective. If you tell me I look nice, I'm going to say thank you. If we tell someone else they look nice, they might be offended. So before we call that bad behavior as bad behavior, let's first point out that it makes us uncomfortable. Give someone the benefit of the doubt that they might not be aware of the fact that I'm not comfortable with that.
All right, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Clueless, creepy, classy. We know that we need everyone to open their hearts, open their minds, open their doors, because we want to do better collectively together.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.